All right. So here we are. My brother, man. Long time in
Cystic,
coming.
man. It's good to see you, man. Thank you for having me, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So listen, man, I want to thank you, man, from the bottom of my heart, man. Let me show you this real quick before we get started.
Okay.
Let's see if you can let's see.
Uh, Yo, that's crazy, man.
You remember this picture?
Yo, is that it? Yo, is that at my crib, yo?
Yeah, this was at your crib. Up
That's
in I think
that,
this was in Harlem.
yeah, that's in Chicago. Yeah, that's in New York. Yeah, man.
Remember?
Wow, that's insane, man. I don't have any photos like that. You got me faded. Fade to black quick, like wow. Somebody can tell a story on me that I can't tell. This with photos, because pictures are 1,000 words. It's like,
Yeah.
you know this dude? Oh, yo.
Yeah,
Oh
man.
my God. Hip hop ambassador. Look at that.
Yeah,
You
so
got the
that's
drop on me. You got the drop on me, son.
so that's definitely the photo that I'm gonna use for my book.
Okay.
But I was like, man, now I just got to get the story to go with it. So
You can't have two. You can't have the then and now. You got to have just the then.
no,
The
I mean, yeah,
evolution.
yeah, yeah. We can
D
definitely
Max,
you
Dynamax. Like
you
you got
you
to have the success story, man.
yeah, yeah. You can send me a current one if you like. That's fine.
I got a successful story, man. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like I
yeah,
evolved.
yeah. For sure, for
I did
sure, for
evolve. That
sure.
name evolved, and
For,
I
yeah, I
um
appreciate
I love
it.
it. Man, love to you, bro. I appreciate it. That's
Word.
awesome. That's awesome.
So let's go, man. Let's go all the way back to the beginning, man. For you as an artist, in general, like what was it that drove you into getting into this thing we love called hip hop?
That story starts with my older brother KJ. My brother KJ. He was DJing in the parks in the Bronx and cutting up. He used to be in the living room of my grandmother's house. He was raised by my grandmother, so he used to have three turntables and a mix on an ironing board. But his homies used to come through. When I was a kid, I was probably like 6 years old. But I remember the music. As I got older, I knew what that music was. Without the kid, at the time, I didn't know what Apache was, or Dance to the Drummer's Beat, or the cat was it, the Stevens record, Dog Was a Donut, um, you know, all those breaks and beats and all that stuff. Ring My Bell and all these records they was cutting in between and all that hip hop. It wasn't hip hop then. It was just a sound that they was into at the time because hip hop wasn't developed.
Yeah,
It wasn't a culture then. It
yeah.
was just it was fragment.
Okay.
It was in fragments. So as a kid growing up, watching my brother on turntables was like watching a scientist.
Mm-hmm.
Like you watch somebody operating in the living room. If you was operating on a person, you'd be like, yo, I want to be a doctor. That's what's up. My biological father's a guitarist, so I want to play the guitar. Period. Always want to play the guitar.
So
Um,
so around what time frame are we looking at with that initial thing that was happening where you were watching
that was
from?
when we talking like that's late '70s. I was born in '72,
Okay.
so do the math. Me being 6 years old, you got to
Yeah.
do the math.
Okay.
You know, and it's like, and so that imprinted on me. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's dope. You know, I want. My parents were both separated and both remarried.
Mm-hmm.
My mother married my sister's father,
Okay.
and never married again. And my sister's father was Larry Roberts. My last name is Edmondson Roberts. I have my biological dad's last name, and I have my mother's last name last. My stepfather's last name.
Okay.
Larry Roberts wrote for the Moments. He wrote and produced for the Moments, the OJs, Eddie Kendricks. He wrote for All Platinum Records. He was a part of All Platinum Records. He was a part of All Platinum Records family. He was a part of that team, like the Bomb Squad.
Okay.
He was like the part of like the Bomb Squad. That was a prequel Bomb Squad thing going on.
Okay.
So with Sting Records and all the different subdivisions that Sylvia Robinson, her husband Joe Robinson had, Larry was doing that. You're getting a real story today.
Yes,
Because
sir.
not even a lot of my friends that I grew up with from New York to Chicago, whatever, didn't know all of this stuff. And now it's come. I'm bringing it out now. Thanks to the woman that I work with at this radio station, Diane Biggs, who's family with people like the Charlites and the Jacksons, talking to her, name dropping, and I ran out of names. talking to somebody way above me in this in the music industry. I'm back home now, I'm not in Europe, I'm home. And she dropped so many names of everything in hip hop I had nothing left. And then I ran back and said, well, my stepfather wrote for first time ever dropped it, you know, and over 30 some years, I've never ever mentioned it. No magazines, nothing. And she was like, yo, whoa, you're internationally legend, but your family is iconic. Ran back and she took Larry's name everywhere. Everybody she called up, her godfather, Marshall Thompson, was like, you know, Larry? Yeah, Larry, we was friends. Well, yeah, blah, blah. Like, what? When I got his son's record, I'm breaking on my show. She was
Right.
breaking one of my records on her radio station, and she's like, through some DJs that my wife that was managing me and was breaking, you know, through a record pool and different radios. Now I'm telling you like 5 stories wrapped in one. We're gonna get back to the origins. Don't worry.
Okay.
So when I name dropped the Roberts, she was ran back with that and was like, you need to merge your family legacy. I spent 2 years studying all of my stepfather's work. And then I came back with the knowledge of everything he did, how he did it, where he did it, all of that. And then I had to merge my identity all over again to be Dynamax Roberts.
Okay.
That's why that's happening now. That's why Dynamax Roberts is there. My label is called Roberts Family Hit 68. Because when my stepfather started putting out the hit records, it was in 68 with the OJs and with the Mummets. So it's like, wow. So, you know, he passed on many years ago. So I'm representing the dynasty of the family. My legacy in hip hop, you know, is built on me, but I have to take what I've done and put it behind what the Roberts family did right here in the United States. And it's bigger than life. Because I went back to find out who sampled the music, and I was in for a shock when I saw the Ghostface and De La Soul and 3 Feet High and Rising and all these Pete Rock and Buckshot. And I was going like, everybody sampled our music.
Yeah.
Everybody sampled my dad's music. And I'm going like, wow. Now we have that out the way. That's the origin story. Was listening to that music growing up at the house. Mommy was always playing these tracks. It was like, yeah, this was Larry's music and blah, blah, blah. Loving the Two-Way Street with some of the stuff that was on the albums. Larry was the one that actually found Billy Brown and
Okay.
for Sylvia and Joe Robertson and brought him to the studio, and they wanted him in particularly and putting together that whole Mummets thing. It was because of Larry. Now when you speak with Billy Brown today and see if any of his media press, I've already documented everything and made a website called Robert's Family Hit 68, and it's all there. Everything's fact checked with magazines, his interviews. He's always mentioned Larry on everything. I said if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have been in this business 50 some years. So the success of the Mummets came off of my stepfather, Larry Roberts, you know, and Alicia Keys sampled the whole, you know, the New York thing. He didn't produce the Love on a Two-Way Street, according to what, you know, my mother said something different. But according to writers, BMI and everything, he didn't write that song. But he helped discover what became the group called the Mummets. He helped discover the Mummets. So
Okay.
that's enough. Plus, he wrote the song Not on the Outside, which was the name of their first album. Not on the Outside, but Inside Strong. A couple of songs on the second album. Now, that was the other part of my inspiration growing up, because that was the music I was hearing in the house. Mommy was playing the vinyl, the Eddie Kendricks album, Keep on Trucking. And then Not on the Outside was also re-sang by Eddie Kendricks,
Mm.
written by Larry Roberts and Sylvia Robertson. Now, that was the stuff that was going on. I didn't know my biological father till I was 9 years old. And, you know, my mother, father, they had a big falling out. You know how it is sometimes with our people, man.
Yeah.
Sometimes they get into it, and sometimes the father ain't, or the man ain't doing what he's supposed to do, or he get violent and all that. And it's like, it's not happening here, man. My
Yeah.
mother didn't play games. Her family didn't either. The
Right.
Johnson family. So that was going to be a big war. That didn't happen. So they ended up splitting ways. They got back together again. And then they made me. My mother went out to Chicago with him. I was born and raised in New York. And then they brought me, what's they born and raised? I could stop saying I was born in New York. And then
Okay.
as a baby. And at some point, they took me down south because my grandfather passed away for the funeral. And then they ended up going to Chicago for a little bit.
Okay.
And then my mom and my dad didn't work out. My mother got on a Greyhound and went back to New York. Said, you know what? You're doing it out in Chicago. This ain't for me. I'm going back to New York. Plus, I got 4 other kids. I got 4 other kids in New York
Mm-hmm.
that my mother's watching. My grandmother was raising my older brother, my sister Tanya, and Nancy and Lisa. So um, she had to get back to New York, get back to the other kids.
Okay.
And that didn't work out. And my father spent 9 years trying to find me.
What?
Yeah. And
Where
then
were you?
only number he had was my grandmother's number. And he kept calling that, calling that, calling that, calling that, even up to my grandmother passed away. And then my uncle Melton, he had co-paid. He pretty much helped pay for the house, with the grandparents, but he put most of the money on it because he was in Korean War and he worked for General Motors. So he ended up just pretty much moving. When grandma moved on, my older brother was taking care of the house and staying there. And eventually, the uncles came back. My Uncle Arnold, who worked for General Motors, and my Uncle Melton, they all came back. My brother was throwing parties and shit, man. He
Okay.
was getting down. He was rocking, girls dancing, having a good time, man. Don't kill me, Keith, for saying this, but I'm telling the truth. So they came through one night. Like, oh, 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 it was like when the Snoop Dogg video with John Witherspoon, when John was like, hey, cutie pie, so that's my uncles for you. So they ended up moving back in the house and all that kind of stuff. And my brother was there. Then eventually my Uncle Melton was there. My father called up one time and spoke with my uncle. Was like, hey, man, I'm trying to get in contact with Maryland. My son, man, my son. So he said, well, I'll give it a message. And then eventually he talked to my mom. It's like, man, he's this man, he's the father that really wants to take care of his kid, man. And the man wants to have his son in his life. I think you should let him,
Yeah.
So he talked my mom into it. And then next thing you know, 1981, my father appears,
Okay.
So I got to, meet my dad. Walks in Webster Projects in the South Bronx.
Okay.
He comes in and he came. I got an Uncle Eddie that lived in the Yonkers, two twin cousins I didn't even know. They Tennessee boys, man. I lived in Chicago and New York. And then he came, he came from Chicago, came up and got to meet him, hang out with him and all that stuff. Fast forward that story a little bit. Give or take 1 or 2 years on that. I ended up going to Chicago, and to visit a little bit here and there and back to New York and school and all this stuff. We can take it from at least 13 and 14 years old. Between 13 and 14, I started living in Chicago, going to elementary schools and all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And, elementary school and then a little bit of high school, like, Anton Dvorak.
Now, and what you were when you were in Chicago, you were on the West Side, right, D?
Yeah, West Side, man. I was 1636 South Central Park, and then I was at 1208 North Parkside Division. Then we also moved down the street to Thomas. I think it was Thomas something. I forgot what it was. Down the street.
Okay.
I forgot where that was at because we got evicted because we had to move because I was making mad noise with the music, man. You know what I'm saying? That happened a couple of times, man. When they leave home, I'll be you see a Jam Master J. I'm like, they come home and they be like, the landlord's complaining. What's going on? Like, they're like, oh man, Joe in there with the hip hop, man. My dad was playing his blues, so he was a part of it.
Okay.
I'm not letting him out of it because he had like a freaking amp. He had a freaking cabinet with 8 woofers in it, dude. 8 woofers, man. They was 12-inch woofers, and he had 8 of them, and he would plug it in and play his guitar.
Okay.
When he would leave, you know what I would do? It was Walk This Way all over again. 1, 2, 3. I would plug my mixer straight. See the outputs here. Okay, inputs here. It's on now, y'all. Yeah. Oh my God, what did James Brown at? Oh my God.
Wow.
And the Parkside and Division, around that area, that's when I met Rockbox. I forgot where, but I met him and we ended up becoming friends and all that kind of stuff. Actually, it was another thing. There was a guy that I knew around the corner. His brother name was James, and I forgot his brother's name, but they was talking. They knew I was doing rap and all that. And they was trying to hook me up with some kind of management thing. But this guy called George Marias, Jewish guy. You know what I'm saying? James was in a wheelchair and all that. And then George would go and get him and put him in like a little Astro van. And he's like, yeah, man, we manage hip hop groups and all this stuff. And he like a few. We got a few groups that he was trying to sign, and one was FIO. And the other one was 2 girls. It was one was MCK Rock Ski and Tip Ski. They was a group. That was a girl group.
Okay.
FIO was interesting because they had 2 of everything. They had I think Jello. I forgot his name. He was the beatbox. It was him, and it was Rockbox. You had Daz. I think Daz was one of them. You had Taco Bobski. They had two DJs.
Okay.
And it was Snake Rock and it was somebody else. I think the other cat, Jello, whatever his name. I forgot. They're gonna kill me for saying Jello. Who knows kid named Jello? Jail, MC Jail or something like that. I
Okay.
think he was one of the partners with Snake. So they was like, I think two MCs, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, y'all, I thought it was two. I know it was two MCs. They had two DJs, two beatboxers, two of everything,
Okay.
and they were dope. And the name of their crew was called Posse, Unlimited Potential Posse.
Yeah.
And then there was me, and I was there solo, and I was like, yeah, well, this is. I think I was using D Love at the time,
Okay.
it was like D Love Rocket, D Love, man, and I was MCing and I was DJing. I rap and DJ, I'm my own DJ,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
MC, freestyle, whatever, beatboxing, whatever, and I'll cut records up and I can rap at the same time, not a problem.
Okay.
And I was, young. I was probably like 13 years old. Come on, I was like 13,
Wow.
and they was like, yeah, it's a kid from the Bronx, man, that's out here. You know what I'm saying? And I was always that kid from the Bronx. And
Yeah.
that's how I met Rockbox. And
Okay.
then me and Rock ended up clicking. And then Rock introduced me to a lot of other people. He was bringing me around to meet different people. Like Raw Material was on Augusta. I would go around and meet those guys. They were older guys. They were like Public Enemy to me. You know what I'm saying? Because they had
Hmm.
like, they had a big production behind them. They put money behind their stuff. When they did shows, they get the limo, they had the clocks like Flavor Flav, but the whole group had clocks. You know what I'm saying? I Rock Productions. And Mac the Most was like Russell Simmons, that was like Don's big brother. And Don, he had a real soft spoken voice. Hey man, what's going on? And my man Kurt was down with them and all that. And something happened. There was a disagreement between me and Tip and Tip who was at my house going over some beats or whatever. And she wasn't feeling the tracks or something. And it was a kitty thing that went on, man. And it
Yeah.
was like tit for tat. And she was like, well, I'm out. And she's like, you leaving with me? And she was like, nah, man, you know what I'm saying? Kay was like, he cool, man, you just gotta get to know him, man. He's, ain't I don't know even know what's going on. What's up? And she was like, man, I'm out. I ain't feeling it. So Kay like, all right. When she was out, she was really out. Like that was it. There was no more Tip. And it
Hmm.
became me and Kay was the group. And then I was like eventually meeting Kurt, meeting Kurt. Rockbox brought me around to meet Kurt. And Kurt was a DJ and a producer, and he was doing a lot of stuff with Raw Material and all that stuff.
Okay.
And I said, yo, man, would you want to get on with us, man, to do some stuff with me and Kate? Me and you both could DJ and produce for her both and be like, Dougie Fresh with Chill Will and Barry B. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Bobcat Cut creator behind LL. Even though
Right.
I'm an MC, I'm proud to be an MC. I thought it was interesting having a chance to do like another project where I can take the background and be a drummer of the group for, that's what that is, being the drummer,
Yeah.
a keyboard player in the time.
Right.
So it was dope. We did demos, we went to the studio, we had the bottles 456 Ampex rails and all that stuff, man. Go in the studio, record, we did demos, we would go to every concert, try to meet people. We never asked for a damn autograph ever. We never asked, can we do photos with you guys? Never. So, Kurt was real mastermind. I had concepts, but Kurt had concepts, man. He was real ill on concepts too. And he's like, yeah, man, we got to be inconspicuous,
That sounds like him.
public enemies in town. So
Yeah.
they're going to be at Barney's record shop, man. So, let's go. We got to dress real deep. We should dress mad militant. So we got K with the army jacket on. We got the patches on. And, Juba, rest in, not, I'm sorry, rest in, Juba, our brother Juba, he's
Yes.
not dead. Rest in peace. What am I talking about?
Yeah. Yeah.
Love to Juba.
Yes.
Juba, Kurt brought Juba in the group as like a background vocalist. So,
Okay.
and Juba was like real, at that time, he was like super alpha male brother back then. You know what I'm saying? And his mother made clothes for the Nation of Islam. I think she might have went back to Africa, but she made clothes for people from Africa.
Okay.
Anyway, so we got all this African stuff, whatever, and dashikis and stuff, and we stand at the back. Here we are standing right across, like you got the record shop and Barney's record shop right there, and you got the records in the middle, and then behind the counter is Public Enemy signing autographs, and then there's like a little door entrance that goes out, like I don't know if it's a back room or whatever, but it's like right in the middle. We're standing back to the four, but it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like we the Black Panthers or something. We the new Black Panthers in the house. So so every so often, Griffin them, they, Chuck and Terminex, they all sign and flame. They like, look, look, they would song, yeah, man, cool, yeah, ha. And they would look up and they would see us. Every time they would look up like, man, who is? And so it was to the point where the Barney, I don't know if his real name is, if the guy who owned the shop is Barney, but the owner of the shop, he came, was like, I don't know if you guys got, I don't know how much time you guys got. You guys want to meet with them, or we don't. Look, then we were at that time somebody like some group that was like really super important, and we were there to meet with Public Enemy. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Okay.
We completely, whatever Kurt had in his mind about us looking this certain way worked.
Okay.
It was like he made us like we were just as important as PE,
Oh
and people
wow.
didn't know, wow, who are these guys? Wow, like we from around the corner, man. I'm the only one that's really far fetched from the group that's from New York, but trust me. So we got a chance to talk with them at the end. Like, yeah, we got a powerful message, brother. We trying to get out, and we just want to, we want to see if we can hit you with some music. And he said, okay, well, y'all coming to the show, and the show was at the Nation of Islam. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? And at the mosque, the Nation of Islam, the mosque number 7. It's mosque number 1. New York is mosque number 7.
Okay.
So man, we go to the show. After the show, they're like, yeah, come to the hotel. We all go to the hotel. We gave them the demo. We had a track or something, meaningful, K rapping on it. Griff and Chuck and the S1W, James Norman and Roger. They were the S1s that were in the room. And they were listening to, yo, man, that's ain't no jam, and y'all coming with it. Yeah, we like the tracks, man, and definitely feeling K, feeling your voice. We're feeling the voice, we're feeling the message. Man, it was like, yo, here go our card. Um, Call us. Whatever you do, don't get discouraged.
You're
So
right.
so that was that story, and then it kind of spawned off into something came up. I forgot this woman Sharon that Kay used to always talk with, and then it was like, okay, cool. Um, I don't want to rewrite it because I know she probably told the story already in her ways, but um, and somehow we ended up connecting this guy called David Suckle or something like that. David Suckle was a sports manager, something like that,
Okay.
and he ended up getting us connected with I don't know if that came. I think it might have came from Chuck D. If I'm not mistaken, it might have came from Chuck. Jackie Paul was a journalist,
Okay.
a media person, journalist, something like that. So she was dealing with David Suckle, and then they was like, yeah, we got to get you guys. We want to hook you guys up with this group to do your music, blah blah blah. Have you guys ever heard of Ultramagnetic? And Kurt was just like,
Right.
because we're like, Public Enemy is our favorite group, and so was Ultramagnetic. That was it. There was only 2 album covers we used to be holding, like Critical Beatdown. It
Right.
Takes a Nation Million Holds Back, and it was like It Takes a Nation Million was bringing us to Critical Beatdown. It was a rap. The producer was said, "G, you guys got to go and record in New York." So my I was in school,
Okay.
and Kay and Kurt had never been to New York before.
Okay.
And as humble as I was as a kid, I gotta say that. Because most people be like, there's an opportunity to go to New York. I'm down. I'm there. I'm going. I don't care what. Y'all better work it out. I'm going.
Right.
I'm going home. I'm gonna be in it. And I was just like, well, I'll go to New York almost every summer I go home, man.
Yeah.
But I wasn't thinking like a business person. I was just thinking like, there's a chance to go to, it's just going to New York.
Right.
This is
Right.
like,
Right. Right.
but it was bigger than that. It was like, no, you're gonna go to New York. You're gonna hang out with Ultramagnetic and everything that comes with it. So they went back, and I don't regret it. Kurt went and he did the production over it, the music over at Sedg's Ultra Lab. Kay was there recording the vocals over and all that stuff like that with them. They got a chance to meet Red Alert, Salt and Pepper, to hang out. They came back to Chicago with the story. I was happy, man. I was always happy. I never had a jealous bone in my body. I was like, that's dope, that's dope, that's dope. So what's up? What's up? We getting on, we getting the deal. And as a kid, man, I was just like, come on, man, all of this great thing, all these great stuff happening, and it never happened, bro. It never happened. It was just like, yeah, there was a chance for a compilation. It was called Chuck D said, yeah, they're gonna do a compilation and be like, we should call it. It'd be like Public Enemy presents Bass Hit. That was kind of the concept. Anyway, that thing fell through. It didn't happen.
Okay.
So I'm going like, oh man. Well, we gave it a shot. You
Yeah.
know, we
Yeah.
gave it the best we could. I ended up eventually, I broke out. I was like, yo, I'm going home, man. I'm out. I'm going home. I'm going back to New York. I
Oh,
love y'all, man. Y'all can always come visit me.
yeah.
But I'm going home. And my man Reg Knott, who
Yeah.
do all the he used to do all the art stuff for us. All the
Okay.
stuff and all the art stuff for our group, Reg was doing that. Reg was also part of our group. as well. So Reg was a dope dancer, and he was a dope, and he ended up doing commercials, like working on the Sprite commercials for hip hop, the stuff with, the whole Voltrons and all this stuff like that, Wild Style, and all the, all these hip hop commercials with Sprite. Reg was like the mastermind behind that stuff later, years later.
Right.
But Reggie was the one always telling me, you should go home, man. If I was you, I'd go back to New York. I'm like, why not? Why go back to New York? Chicago's dope. If I was you, I'd go back to New York, man. Like you get, you know what I'm saying? You could do so much stuff, man. And I was like, it kind of sunk in eventually. And I was like, I think I'm gonna go home, man. This will always be home for me, but I gotta go back. So I went back to New York. Kay came to visit me. She came up to visit one time, and we jumped on the 41, either the 55 or the 41 bus going down to the South Bronx, around the corner from where I'm actually from, Webster Projects.
Okay.
And we went to go see Said G, 170th, actually. I think that's where that's at. We went to go see Said, and Timdawg. As soon as we got off the bus, Timdawg was right there. Rest in peace to him. So Tim was there. Yo, man, I'm gonna take y'all upstairs, see Said, man. We get upstairs, and I had never been there, right? So it was the first time I'm actually going. So get to the house, and how you doing, Miss Miller? I'm like, oh yeah, Cedric Miller, right? His mom's. Said G lived with his mom. I'm going like, oh, that's what's up. Damn, that's cool.
Right.
And we get in, and it was a room, and it had Ultra Lab written on it. You open the door up, and it was like the drum, the 808 and the track machine, 8-track, whatever it was. It was a lot dense compared to what we were dreaming of as kids.
Yeah.
We had this huge imagination, like every kid that ever followed Ultraman, that they had like the 50,000 tracks. It was the Ultra Lab. The Ultra Lab was going to be like, we had this whole Frankenstein, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde thing. David Banner's laboratory, the Avengers laboratory. And I'm mind, if that's the Ultra Lab, it's like nobody said that.
Yeah.
Nobody told y'all that. But that's what we were thinking. Like in my mind as a kid, I was like, oh, the Ultra Lab was just a room with, you got a couple of tools here and there, but they made those dope ass records off that,
Yeah.
It said he was just like laying in the room, chilling, twin size bed, watching the football game.
Wow.
Another bed next to him probably was Timdawg's, but who knows? I don't know. Come on in, man. Y'all good, man? Come on, yeah. I'm saying, all right. That's Mr. Hello. It's me again. I said, G, and I was, we just sit there for a minute. We talked with him for a while, and after we broke out, so, all right, man, we gonna talk to you later, man. That was Kay. And then we went back uptown to my uncle's house, and went and kicked it. We got some Chinese food, and we had some fun, man. Some laughs, some jokes, watched some TV, and kicked it. Had a good time, man. Hung out for a bit, you know what I'm saying? And then afterwards, she had to head back to Chicago, and I was kind of like, we always kept in contact over the phone. Me, I stayed with the music business. I had Kool Keith's number from them, so I used to always talk to Keith. He would call me, I would call him, and that's what. And then eventually, I just like faded because I was growing up. So I was like, I'm home now. I'm back in New York, so I'm going crazy with everything. Like, I'm trying to go to every hip hop event, every Rocksteady, Zoo anniversary, Cold Crush anniversary, every hip hop function going on. I want to be there and connect with everybody. It's to the point where every time Grandmaster Cavs and Kool Herc saw me coming, he knew it. He's like, yo, Dynamax again, man. And one day, him and Cavs were like, yo, man, let him in for free, man, because he's at every event, every gym. I was there with my Shell to Adidas on and my Dickies overalls and the jacket. My man Zimad did the piece on the back and had my group on it, produced by New York, and I had the army hat flipped up with the goggles on. It was like fat laces on. Like I was hip hop from 1982, and we're talking 90s now. So it was like, hip hop was going somewhere else, and I was still like, I'm just getting home.
Yeah.
I'm just coming back home now for good. Road manager George Clinton. Monte Cristo, I met him through thank God for an aerosol writer, a very famous aerosol writer by the name of Zimad. Zimad connected me to a woman named Barry Klein, and Barry Klein worked with a lot of the aerosol writers and things like that. I stopped saying graffiti because my brother Face 2 despised it.
Yeah.
He said it was like using the N-word.
Yeah.
And he passed away. So I kind of like, in respect for him, I always say, well, the aerosol writers and all that. So that's why I do that. So she was always with the writers and things like that. And she was always with the art galleries. This Jewish woman, really cool people, down to earth, big heart. Was always on the phone talking with Barry. Nothing personal, nothing like, oh, we trying to hit it and quit. Nothing like that. She was an older woman, but she probably wasn't. She's probably like early 30s, and I'm like, here I am, this young kid that's like 20 years old. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I say older woman, like, no, she wasn't old. She was young. You were just a little kid. And kids always, anybody that's, if you're like 10 years older than me, then yeah, you old. That's the mentality. Now I'm looking at myself going like, yeah, you're 50 now, dog. So it's like, now who's old? Right, right. So Barry Klein hooks me up with Monte Crystal, her one connection in the music business, road management for George Clinton, European management team for George Clinton. And we talked for about a year or so. One night called and said, yo, you want to make a record? Of course I do. D Nasty, the father of hip hop in France. D Nasty is a DMC DJ, decorated world champion. And he was like, yo, he's making an album. He's going to be here in New York. He's with Polygram, the label, blah, blah, like to get you on a couple of songs with him. And I'm like, love it. My group got to be on it. Oh, man. I made sure that my group had to be in it. At that time, my group was, my brother KJ was DJing. My apprentice that I had was Mad Regan. You know what I'm saying? So, can I say apprentice? Is that what you use? Or protege? What do you say? No, protege, right?
Yeah, protege.
Protege,
Yeah.
somebody I was teaching.
Yep.
I was more like right. I was more like his apprentice. So, my protege artist, and we had a group. So, Mad Rican, I gave him that name because I was like, yo, man, you should be mad because Puerto Ricans ain't really get the fair share, man. They kind of got crapped on in this whole political arena and this hip hop arena too. Y'all got to get recognized, man. So, he was we met in high school in New York, Julia Richmond and Manhattan and all of that. So it's like, so it's funny. We had met, I was like 18 going back to New York, and I was still trying to finish high school 18. Because what happened was the credit system was different.
Right.
So when I came back to New York, they said, you need more credits here. It was less credits to graduate in Chicago. You need more in New York. I'm going like, oh man, I'm gonna be 29,000 years before I graduate. And it's like, that didn't work out for me. It didn't work out. I ended up working to get the GED. And then when the GED thing came up, by the time all that started to play out, it's crazy. So anyway, me and Maverick and my brother KJ, we ended up going to D&D studio, recording the song. I had a song called New York is the Old School, paying homage to the pioneers, paying homage to the old New York, the old school. New York is the mecca of hip hop. So let's pay homage to it. So, and we talking about the 4 elements at the time, not the 5, but the 4 elements of hip hop.
Okay.
So that song is all about that. So his verse was all about that too. I'm like, cool, let's do that song. That's our concept. This record is the concept of hip hop. And the second one was called I Can't Get Enough, where he's rapping in Spanish. And I said, yo, you got one rap in English, one in Spanish. I'll go in the middle with English. I'll come in the middle. You come in the beginning. And because I'm putting him on. That's how I felt about it. I'm like, this is a deal that I got. I hooked this deal up. And I want to get him out there with me. So I'm going like, this would be dope. The Europeans loved it because they was like, yo, Spain is right next door to France. So it was a whole nother twist.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, oh, that's crazy. They was like, yeah, we love the Spanish because Spain is, we love Spanish, Latino, we love the Latin. It's like, oh, you guys are related to the Latin because Spain is next door. So 6 months later, well, within the 6 months, Monty shows up with a camera crew, Canal Plus, and they're doing a documentary called Culture Hip Hop A New York. And in this documentary is Wu-Tang Clan. We're talking 1993.
Okay.
Wu-Tang is in it. Public Enemy's in it. The Last Poets. Africa Bambaataa was in it at the time. Guru from Gang Star's in it. Red Alert, Dougie Fresh, Kid, Little Vicious was in it. I'm probably leaving out a bunch of names, man, but it was Supernatural's in it. Okay. King of Freestyle, Supernat was they ended it with him. So we're at the beginning, the middle, and the end, and that we didn't know that till it was done, but they're recording it. We're going to record it, so you guys need a show. So my best friend Matt Regan, his real name is Ricardo Rivera Rick. His aunt Smiley was managing us for a little bit. She was trying to manage us. Rest in peace to Smiley. She got us a show at the Limelight. So we got a show at the Limelight. I had my turntables, my 1200s flight case that my man Rick built it like on the spot. We went and got the wood. We went to the Home Depot spot and got wood. And he was like, damn, I'm gonna make you a dope flight case, yo. I'm like, come on, man, the dude gonna be here tomorrow. You gonna have it done. Yeah, we gonna do it ourselves, yo, straight up, B. So I'm holding stuff. I don't know nothing about carpentry, yo. I'm holding stuff, sawdust flying in my face, man. I'm gonna go get my goggles, man. Come on, man. Sawdust flying everywhere. He like, yo, it's gonna be dope. It was. He put it together. The 1200s fit in there. I had a little Gemini mixer. My brother came out. we was staying in Queens at the time. So
Okay.
Monty, they said, but they were making jokes. They're like, yeah, this gonna be some little tiny French dude gonna show a little small ass camera, yo. You know what I'm saying? They clown me with the whole French thing. They clown me. I love y'all to death, but y'all clown me with that. I'll never forget it. And I had a studio apartment upstairs. Somali had the basement. It was a huge basement, and she was a dog groomer. So she had a grooming side. She had another apartment within that, and then she had another whole another key and door to lock, and then the living room. So when they showed up, guess what? Canal Plus. America now knows Canal Plus as Studio Canal.
Okay.
And Studio Canal, does all the big films, the Jason Stanton films, all the big films. Studio Canal covers all the huge films. That's Canal Plus. That's
Okay.
like their HBO, basically.
Okay.
These dudes pull up in a big van. Dude gets out. John Francois, rest in peace. He just passed away recently. Monty's with him. These guys come in. Huge TV camera, yo. Giant. Hollywood. We talking Hollywood, France, Hollywood, period. And my guys are like, yo, man. Oh, man. They looking at their clothes. I got my same old jean jacket with the Dickies on. You know what I'm saying? D is ready to go. They're like, yo, D, man, you got to hook us up with some gear. I said, all right, let's go upstairs, man. They come up to my closet. I had all the brand. I had Lee suits. I had some Lee suits. I had Levi joints. I had the top and bottom, brown Timberlands, brand new black Timberlands, whatever you want, suede leather, 40 belows. I had my gear set. And my brother was like, yo, I'm rocking the Lee suit. I'm like, there you go, all day. So I gave my brother Lee suit, Matt Regan. I had the jean, they're not jeans, but like the pants, the black pants with the jean sort of the jacket to go with it. I let him rock that. And then I had my stuff on. And we came back down and then we was all fresh. Let's do it. They started filming us. We started freestyling or whatever. Then they had us going to the train station. Speedy D from New York City Breakers was also down with us too.
Okay.
That was because of Zinman. Zinman hooked me up with him. So I said, yo, we need a dancer. And he hooked us up with Speedy. Shout out to Mitchell. I don't even know where you at. I can't find him. Would love to interview you for my radio show. So Speedy, New York City Breakers was right there with us. Just, he was in it. We went to like Queensboro Plaza outside where the trains run. He's out there up rocking. You know what I'm saying? Doing his thing.
Yeah.
And we got the boom box and we out there posing, B-boy pose or whatever. And then, they filmed us at the Limelight. Well, we rhyming and we killing the song, jumping up and down. New York is old school and doing it and all that. And 6 months, maybe 4 months after that, that's the summer. We ended up going to Paris. We called up like, yo, you got to bring you guys to France. The album's coming out. You coming to Paris? I'm like, what? You guys coming to Paris? So I was like, I told Monty, I said, yo, dude, tell me Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck are coming to the crib, man. Don't lie, man. Please don't do this to me, man. Like, I can't take it, bro. That's too much, man. He's like, hey, I lied to you about everything else, right? I said, no. I said, no, you haven't, man. But I'm sorry. I just can't believe that one, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm the Bronx, Chicago, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, man. I was raised in a lot of ghettos, man. You can't do that one. So he says, oh, hey, I call you back, man. So he calls me back on the three-way call, and there's D Nasty. And Monty don't have a French accent no more. He's been living out here for so long. He's from California. And I thought he was from California. He know he was from France.
Okay.
So D Nasty's like, hey, we want to we have a do ticket for toi, you, and KJ, the DJ, and we want you to come to promote for my album, and you have to perform the songs. New York is the old school. And we're going to have, I think we should do like old school kind of battle, like I have 2 turntables, KJ, and we have 4 turntables on stage. And it's just like the punk jams in New York. And I'm like, that's dope. That's dope. Wow. So when I heard his French accent, he was I was like, I got off the phone. We were jumping up and down, man. Smiley all, yo, you motherfuckers are going to Paris. Yo, we was like bugging out like, yo, that's L, man. Like, that's L. How would a group called Produced by New York and a song called New York is the Old School, Funkadelic Management Team. I'm really trying to get a deal in the United States. I'm really trying to continue what I was doing with Bass Hit and with K and come out in America. What happens is, because of the French connection that I had no idea was the French connection, I ended up going out to France. And when you stamp the date of the record, 1994, Apollo Polygram, D Nasty, the father of hip hop in France. The guy that had the first radio show out there, the guy that had the first the first compilation record deals, the first DMC DJ World Champion, for the first guy to do the park jams out there. You know what I mean? He always said France is 10 years behind the United States, always. So everything after Flash and Bambaataa and Kool Herc, they were like, he was coming like right after. They was coming right after.
Right.
His crew was DJ Cut Killer, which ended up getting down with Pitbull's Funk Master Flex for the World DJ, World Champ. You know, the World DJs of Pitbull.
Right,
the Pitbull team. He had Tim Westwood was the DJ for the United Kingdom, so he recruited Cut Killer. D Nasty, you know, was like out there with hip hop and like yo, you know, and representing Zoom Nation and representing hip hop. We had every element of hip hop was being represented. We had African people out there. We seen Arabian kids pop. I'm like, damn. In my country, Arabian people only drive the cab or work in the store. Hamza and you know what I'm saying. You know, Muhammad and all these guys. They work in the grocery store. You know, they drive in the taxi. Out here, they b-boying, they spray painting. We like, man, we coming from the airport. We arrive, we fly to France. We get off the plane first class. They had this on produced by New York, Polydor. They had a big van waiting on us. They got us. They brought us to some place. Fans out there. We signed the autographs. One girl wants my brother to sign her titty. You know what I'm saying? Gave him a mark like, sign, please. I'm going like, oh wow, yo, they bugging out, man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
That's what it is, man. You still with me?
Yeah, I'm still here.
So that was a whole nother experience. So we went out there, we toured for 2 weeks and 3 years. We came back to America, told that story for 3 years. It drove me crazy. And I was working a day job in between that, working for supermarkets, still going to hip hop jams. Went into Rikers Island, not as a prison, not as a criminal, but went into Rikers because Smiley was like, yeah, we doing stuff.
That's my brother D-Max. Hopefully he could come back in so we can finish up. But I don't know, his phone might have died. Yeah, so this is not our traditional show night, but I wanted to get my brother D-Max in since he agreed to go ahead and do the interview so quickly after us speaking in chat form last night. I went ahead and just went on and said, let's do it, you know, get it in sooner the later. I mean, the sooner the better. So, but I'm not sure if he's coming back because it might be his connection or he may have ran out of phone juice. Not quite sure. So let's see if I can give him a call and see if the phone call goes through. Let's see here. Yeah, his phone might have lost connection. Try to give him a few more minutes. See if he comes back in. Chicago rocks. Okay, he just got my message, so let's see what happens.
I'm sorry, man. My phone overheated. Yeah, it overheated. They actually told me the phone overheated. Couldn't use Google Store. So I'm back in the house now. So yeah, we can talk now. Sorry about that. I hope it didn't mess up the whole entire recording.
Yo.
I'm sorry, man. My phone overheated.
That's interesting, man. Well, at least I was just, that's why I said, let me hold on for a few moments to see if he can come back in.
Yeah, it overheat. I was like, I've never seen that happen before. But it's like, yeah, your
Hey,
phone is
man,
overheated. You can't open Google Store. Phone's overheated. I'm going like, wow.
Look, you was bringing so much heat, you made the phone, die out.
Oh man, I'm hoping that nobody's getting bored. I'm hoping I'm boring you to death with all this stuff, man. I swear to God. I hope this ain't boring, Doug. There's a lot of history, man. There's a lot of stuff to go over.
It is. So you were just talking about, the over there in the travels, and and then it went out.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, I was saying, yeah, 3 years passed, man. We was working day jobs, and then still going to hip hop events. Went into Rikers Island. My best friend's Smiley got us to go in to do some stuff in Rikers Island. Wanted me to perform, like go in there and perform. I was solo when I stayed performing, and she had Grandmaster Cass and Kool Herc to come in, and that's where me talking about the Herculoids and all Kool Herc and blah blah blah. That's where that comes into play, and we're talking 1995. That was That was 1 year after I just went to France, and we did the French thing in '94, the summer of 1994.
Okay.
So the summer of 1985, I'm like doing stuff in the parks. We was my uncle Gene had AIDS. Rest in peace to him.
Okay.
My father's oldest brother, and my best friend Matt Reeky and his mom had it too. Rest in peace to her as well. You know what I'm saying? Evelyn Castellar, Eugene Edmondson, man, rest in peace to them. And so Smiley was like, you guys should do a song about it. Like there's the AIDS Walk thing. You guys should do a song called AIDS. I think it's AIDS Talk. You guys should do AIDS Walk or vice versa. It was one or the other. I think it was AIDS Talk. Because the AIDS Walk in New York, we should do AIDS Talk. It was a song. Okay. So we did that and did a video. Barry was that's when we brought Barry Klein comes back into the picture. And Barry was like, yeah, I got some friends that do videos and things like that. So we did a video. I don't even have a copy of that. Shame on me. But that was, my mom had a copy of it. Rest in peace to her. But she had a copy of that years ago, like back in those days. And it was hard to keep. I'm hard to keep up with stuff, man. Because I'm always moving. I'm always. My mother, like, you can't stay still. My father always said, you got your mother's hot feet, man. Because you can't stop moving, dude. Like he hated it when I left Chicago. He cried, man. My father cried like a baby, man. He was like, he said, you're going to go through the same thing one day. Watch. What's not on me? Watch. You're going to go through the same thing, yo. It's like, for real. It's like, man, you don't got to go. I'm like, I got to do this, man. You told me don't procrastinate, man. I don't want to procrastinate. Stop trying to use my words against me, son. I said, nah, that's not what I'm doing. I swear. I really want to do this. Hip hop is like jazz. It's gonna die out. I said, no, it's not. Because my father came from gospel and blues and all that. And he's like, yeah, it's like jazz music, man. It's going to be the hottest thing. And the next thing you know, it's fade out like it's never going to die. Why do you think that? I said, because hip hop blends with every kind of music. We use rock, we use blues, we use jazz, we use everything.
Yeah.
We rap over every kind of music there is. So That's why I can't go nowhere, because it's going to use everything. And I believed in this.
Yeah.
1989, I'm trying to convince my father in Chicago that hip hop is forever, man.
Yeah.
And I didn't know I was going to become the hip hop ambassador.
Yeah.
They still
Yeah.
crusading around for the culture of hip hop and traveling all over the world. Now,
Is your dad still alive?
no, Dad passed away, man, a few years ago,
Okay.
and may he rest in peace. He had went back to Tennessee, to where he came from, and then he went to meet his maker, man. Went to meet his maker, our maker, our creator.
Yeah.
So he's in heaven, man, looking down. Like, and my mom is my stepmother too. My stepmother, who partially raised me out there in Chicago, and my mom, who gave birth to me and raised me in New York. She passed away too. She left first.
Oh
Then it was
wow.
no, yeah, well, no, Margaret died first, and then it was my mom, and then because Margaret was my mom's too. She was my mom. She was from Mississippi.
Okay.
And she had 9 sisters, 4 brothers. So I got all these step cousins in Chicago. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And
Yeah.
sometimes, yo, hey, cuz, what's going on, cuz? I see you out there doing your thing out there on Facebook, man. I
Yeah.
be like, what up, Pulu? Shout out to Pulu. You know what I'm saying? And the whole Lemon family. Mississippi, the Mississippi tribe, man. That's my family from Mississippi and Chicago.
That's
And
what's up.
yeah, they I'm always off the rails, but they come and find me. They go, you was Margaret's son. Thought she was Margaret's son, and I am. I'm a couple of women's son. I'm Marilyn Roberts' son, and I'm also Margaret Lemon's son as well. And so they've passed on. And the thing was, those 3 years, I was working day jobs and still going to hip hop events. I was still fighting to try to get on, still trying to send demos to Polydor in New York and all that. Yo, we did this record on the same label, yo, but it was in Europe. Trying
Yeah.
to get on,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
trying to get the record recognized in America. We was trying to get McNamara or whatever his name was over at Poly. Yo, was on. Come on, man. And then Tupac came out with a song called "Nothing But the Old School." We're like, wow. I'm like, our song's called "New York is old school, man." You know what I'm saying? It's on the same label, yo.
Right.
What's up
Right.
with that? Even though Pac wasn't signed to Polydor, but it was, to us, it was like the industry. But the old school was the old school, and then at the hip hop was changing. The years were changing, so it wasn't that Pac heard our song and then he took it. It was nothing like that. It
Right.
was just
Right.
that but you always feel like that when your idea don't come out first, and someone else, that artist that you look up to, come out with it. So I was like, well, later for America, man, because they cast is already, they're coming out with my concepts already coming out, man.
Yeah.
So I kept in contact through the years with everybody in Europe, Monte Cristo and D Nasty. I always was on the phone with them, paying them high ass phone bills, calling those dudes, and you call those guys in Paris. Yo, all my good girlfriends I was with at the time, Japanese girl I was dating. And we wasn't dating, we was together for a couple of years. She like, Atsuko was like, yo, you had to find you, Shine, that phone bill. I'm like, yes, I have to call in Paris. These guys, it's very important. It's my music career.
Yeah.
Yeah, you say music career, but your career don't pay the phone bill. I was like, yeah. I know all that. I know all of that. And I was working at Pitney Bowes, in the mailroom and shit. In Tom Warner's basement, yo. I met Old Dirty Bastard. I met Busta Rhymes one time in the elevator and all that. But I never sweat. I would just show them respect, like peace, God,
Right.
respect, blah 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 blah. And it was like that was it. I never said, yo, here go my demo. I never did that with those
Yeah.
cats. Like,
Yeah.
nah, man, I don't. I never believed in that no more, because I was like, we did that with Public Enemy and it didn't work out. It
Yeah.
didn't work out with us in Chicago doing that. So I was like, nah, we got to get to the labels, man, to the source. Either we get to the source or somebody that likes what I do and wants to sign me and what I'm doing. So I got an idea popped in my head one day. I don't know how did this come about. I said, yo, let me find how much. I want to find out how much it costs to go to Paris. So I asked this gay dude named Hansley. Hansley was working in a computer room. I said he's with a traveling agency and different things like that. And I said, yo, Hansley, man, you know anything about international flights and all? He said, I can look up any kind of flight. So I said, find out how much does it go round trip to Paris. Yo, this dude told me $230 round trip to Paris. I was
What?
like, yo, I'm out. I'm like, yo, I'm out, son. You see my face? I'm out, son. I'm out. I'm out. I was like, yo, we went over there. It was like first class. It was like $1,800 round trip first class.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So I'm going like, we's 97 right now. We're talking. So I'm going to say, yo, I'm going to take like Thanksgiving, because they don't even have Thanksgiving out there, right? So I'm going
Yeah.
to go Thanksgiving as a weekend. take a couple of days and all that.
Yeah.
And and I was like, I'm gonna call yo D Nasty. I want to come out there, man. You say like, yo, come out there for a couple, at least a week or something like that. I got you. Come out. You stay at my house. You know what I'm saying? We can go in the studio. We can record some stuff. I got my radio show, Radio Nova, still. Come on. I'm like, what? Man, I went out there, got Charles de Gaulle Airport. Bonjour, comment allez-vous? Ça va? At that time, I couldn't say any of that, Jack. I was just like, yo, I don't know what they talking about, yo. He's like, yo, get to the payphone. We gotta get to a payphone. Back then, payphones, right?
Yeah,
But this is
yeah.
a payphone in France. And he was like, yeah, you need to get the the French money. Back then it was French francs. So I needed 50 French francs, which is 50 francs. And I hope that air conditioner is not gonna mess up the
Oh,
sound.
no, you fine. Mhm.
Okay, all right, because AC just kicked in. So
Okay.
I'm like, man, train of thought, right? So 50 euros, get the low card with it looks like a bank card with the chip, and I'm like, oh, they got the microchips out here, yo, they on a new world order out here, yo. Damn. It was on that, knowledge, wisdom, overstanding. We was on our conscious stuff back then too.
Right,
So I was
right.
like, yo, America, everybody has cell phones in France, and I was like, yo, we don't use cell phones like that.
Right.
Nobody was on cell phones like that unless you was like seriously crazy money. And the cell phones we ever seen rappers had was the real big joints.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. Everybody had regular small cell phones, yo.
Right.
Nobody had the big telephone book, old school telephone book cell phones. I'm going like, yo, that's what's up. So like get to the phone. I call up D Nasty on the number, like, yo, I'm here, man. What's up? Okay, Dynamax. So you have to take a taxi, and I'll give you my address, write it down. Okay. 36 something, Anxuru. That's another thing. You get to another country and it's French, you can't read the name of the street, dude.
Wow.
A lot of them everybody don't speak English. Some people do, but not everybody.
Right.
So you walk up, excuse me, yeah. Oh, just no English. You're like, excuse me, sir. I don't know the speaker. So I'm like, okay,
wow.
what did I get myself into? I get to the cab. I'm like, hey man, you speaking? I speak a little English. Okay, where do you exactly do you want to go? I'm gonna show you, man. Look. Oh, I know what this is. This is yeah, you know all of that. So if you could just please get me here, man.
Yeah.
So I got there, paid the man. You know what I'm saying? D Nasty was waiting downstairs. I got out there, my little suitcase. You know what I'm saying? He's like, yo, Dynamax, my brother. Big hug came through. I stay on the 36th floor. Everybody called it the 36 chambers. Because in France, not all the buildings are real tall like that.
Okay.
There's some buildings are like that, but not all the buildings. But where he was at was like, top, lot of floors, like just like in the States. So yeah, they called the hip hop kids used to come see D Nasty, called it the 36 chambers. So we get up to his place. He got records all over the place. He got records in the pantry, dude. In the pantry. Instead of having, tomatoes and you know what I'm saying, and artichokes in a can or something, or raviolios. This dude got 45s in the pantry. He got records for days. Like mad vinyl everywhere. Like every record any hip hop record America ever produced, he had it.
Wow.
It was down to the section of colors, bro. If I seen red and black, me and you both know that represents profile. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And if we seen all of the blue with the yellow swirl thing, that's the nucleus joints. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If we seen the baby blue thing with the black, okay, that's Jive Records.
Right.
Certain things as a DJ, you like, oh, you got the Jive, hit the whole Jive, everything that Jive ever produced, he had the whole Zomba collection, yo.
Wow.
Everything. He had D Nasty's, this guy really is a, father hip hop out here, man. He had everything, bro. You name it, he had it. He was telling me stuff, that I didn't know about hip hop, certain things, the whole celluloid record collection, like celluloid is French. He's like, yeah, DXT, our Phase 2 did all of the covers. So when you put the singles together, I'm going to show you. And he went and pulled all the vinyls out, put them all on the floor and showed me all the 12 inches together. And it was one big piece. I'm going like, oh shit. I didn't know that. Maybe a lot of people in America did know that, but I didn't know that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So I was like, oh, that's dope. So just getting a chance to chop it up with D Nasty was fun. We did go in the studio. We recorded more records. Did the Radio Nova thing. Um, he had me doing shows. It was to the point, and then everybody that he would bring me to the club and put me on the mic, and it was a rap after that. As soon as I would get to the mic and start freestyling or whatever, while he's cutting up break beats or whatever, everybody was like, "Oh, American artist. Okay, so D Nasty, do you need a ride back to your house?" Yes, yeah, okay, yeah, okay, I can use a ride. D Nasty's he's way he gangster, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
just
yeah.
like, I love him to death, man. And he don't see no color in this shit. He never did,
Okay.
never did. And he just real. He's a real hip hop head. Period. And he was like, if you wasn't here, these same they mothers, they wouldn't offer me no ride home, man. Have to take a cab or take the train with my vinyl. Sometimes my
Wow.
shoulder's killing me because I have all of the disc, you know.
Right.
And the same guys, they never ever offer me a ride. But
Wow.
you're here from New York, so you know, I was like, that's messed up, D. That's kind of messed up. I
That
didn't know
is.
that was. I didn't know what that was going on. I mean, a few nights it was going on. So he told me about it after it got too much. He was like, okay, now say it. But it was cool. And then they were like, we want you to jump on this track. We got a compilation. We got this. We got that. Sony, this, that, and Sony Music, independent labels. Everybody was trying to get Dynamax on a record. And that's where it all really started to spin off for me as a solo artist.
Okay.
Like on the international shit really started to turn my head like I had no idea what was coming. To
Okay.
the point where it was like, yeah, we want you to come. Can you come back? Can you come back? And I was like, oh yeah, I can come back. Let me see. I was asking my job for like the next year's vacation in January, And then it was like D Nash was in the hospital for something that happened to him. And I asked them for the emergency leave. And I was in March. And I came out for a week.
Okay.
And then it was like people were still hitting me up trying to get me on a bunch. So I set up a whole lot of projects with people over the phone.
Okay.
There was no internet.
Right.
Over the phone. Everything was over the phone. Always over the phone. Set up a whole bunch of projects. And next thing you know, I'm calling Monty like, yo, man, I'm gonna come out there. He said, yo, you come out here, you gotta have a plan, man. I said, yeah, my plan is to blow up. Sorry. That's my plan. My plan is to blow up, bro. That's it. So he's like, yeah, but is it, something serious? Oh, yeah, of course it's serious. You know me, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm gonna go to Europe and I'm gonna visit America.
Okay.
I'm gonna visit the United States.
Right.
So
Right.
I was over there like 3 months vacation,
Okay.
living over there. And before the 3 months was up, every time, every 2 months and a half, I would jump on the plane and head home for
Okay.
2 weeks. And after 2 weeks, and I would go back over there.
Okay.
And I would go do this. I was doing that for like 4 years, dude.
Oh wow.
And then I got a deal with Universal in 2004. I got signed with them for special projects / publishing.
Okay.
Music on films. I did a bunch of stuff. Collaboration with every label that was underneath Universal, which means Polydor, Polygram, Mercury.
Okay.
Universal licensing music, which was like house music. There, I was experimenting with different type of music that I've never thought I'd ever jump on. Techno, house, rock, whatever. I
Okay.
was like, I'm jumping on. They was paying me, and I'm
Right.
going like, I gave my resignation into my job.
Right. Right.
And they was
Right.
like, yo,
Right.
we're going to go to Europe to become a star in hip hop, blah, blah, blah. So, congratulations. People clapping for me. I'm giving my resignation and leaving the projects, packing up my stuff. My boy Katie, who was staying with me at the time, he was leaving. He had more stuff than I did leaving out the crib. And my friend Shauna Slevin is Irish girl I met that was working there. And Shauna introduced me to her friend Maxine over in the UK. And Max like, yeah, you got to go to the UK. And I'm going like, never been to the UK. Only knew people in France. That's it. And they was like, yeah, you got to come to the United Kingdom. D Nasty. I had introduced to D Nasty over the phone. So they was like, yeah, you have a show with D Nasty. You do that. Buy a ticket to the UK. Going to come out for a couple of weeks. We got a show for you. We're trying to get you to Scotland too.
Okay.
England and Scotland. So I get over there. I'm in Brixton. You're getting way more than what you actually bargained for when you asked me to do this. You're getting way more, man. I did 30 countries, bro. And I ended up
Wow.
going to Africa, going back home to our motherland, Africa. The
Wow.
U.S. Embassy in France. I looked out for this young girl from the Bronx named Tracy. I got some contracts read for her and things like that. I had the radio show out there in Paris. I went up to Generations. One of the DJs that's down with D Nasty, DJ LBR, gave me a reference. I said, y'all want to be on Radio Nova? Yeah, but Nova was world music, and that was back in the days. Generation is the hot new radio now for hip hop, and everybody was coming up there from Busta Rhymes, you name it. Everybody that would come to town, they was all going to Generation. They would go to all the stations, but Generation was like that underground radio station that was FM, and everybody had to be on Generation. You know, it's like, all right, that's where I'm gonna go. And I said, yo, I want to do a show. I want to call Live from New York. I'm from New York and I'm live. He's like, we like that. And I said, yeah, but the way everybody hears Live from New York is the way everybody hears Live from New York. So people were thinking my show was being broadcasted from New York. Like Generation had all this money and they were paying to have my show broadcasted back from the United States. So B-boys were out there. When I was cutting, like one week I would play hip hop and R&B. Sometimes I'll play all the new music. Sometimes I play underground hip hop. And then another week I would do break beats, like cutting all the breaks for the B-boys. So they would tape my shows like we was taping Red Alert and Mr. Magic, you know what I'm saying? Or people was taping Farley Jack Master Funk in Chicago back in the days on WBMX. Or WGCI with Pink House and all those guys. You know what I'm saying? Or Big Up Taco Bob Ski was on GCI and all that. So just to drop that in the bucket, like I know what's up. So Chicago always gonna get some shine for me, period. So you know, it's what's going on here is the music industry got me.
Yeah.
And KD was like, yo, I'm gonna talk to Alpha. He was down with Zulu Nation. He was like, yeah, I'm gonna talk to Bam Potter about you, yo. Because I had a picture of Radio Nova when I DJ'd up there when D Nasty was in the hospital, when I had went out there that March. And he said, yo, Bam loves the station. And I was like, cool, great. And then when I was leaving New York in 98 to go live out there, that's when he introduced me to Africa Bambaataa. And I was like, okay, I don't know this guy.
Okay.
Don't know him, anything about him. But only thing I know about him is what the whole world knows about him. He made Planet Rock, Renegades of Funk, Beat Street, and all that stuff. That's all I know about him. So I met him. He was cool. Yeah, man, France used to be the second biggest chapter. If you could break France back. That's not why I'm going to France, dude. I'm going to France for myself, me, myself, and my music career. That's why I'm buying my ticket to go out there.
Right.
Hey, y'all ain't buying my ticket. Y'all not giving me no money, nothing. I'm going out there. But it's nice to meet you.
Right.
It's nice to meet you. Cool. Respect to the Zulus and all that stuff. And it was all love, man. It was all love. So I told him, I can't promise, man, but I see what I can do. And I ended up resurrecting D Nasty back into the nation and helping him rebuild his chapter out there and all that stuff. But I stayed on my mission, doing making records with D and other people. And you know, like I said, around 2000, when I got a residential card out there.
Okay.
In 2001, actually. And signed to Universal in 2000.
Okay.
10-year deal. And it's like, all right, cool. You know, no, I'm lying. There was a 10-year residency card, but it was a 4-year deal that I signed up with Universal. Okay. And like I said, while I was there, people were hitting me up like, yo, we got a show for you in Belgium. Cool, let's do it. My phone would ring. Artistic, man, listen, my phone would ring. I didn't know how people got my goddamn cell phone. That's how weird that was. I was like, hello? They'd be like, hey, Dynamax. So I'm like, yo, who is this? He like, yes, my friend Jean-Philippe gave me your number. I have a project. We have a little budget, you know, but I'm like, okay, man, look, I charge da-da-da-da-da. So then you're like, nah, it's different. Like, nah, I charge such. Let me sound like Mr. Businessman over here. It's like, wow. So didn't know the business in the beginning, didn't know anything about publishing, royalties, points, percentages, studio sessions, none of session money, none of that. And through getting burned on a few deals out there, I actually learned because people was like, okay, and for the business, we can offer you. And I was like, oh shit. So that's what I should have been getting all along. Wow, man. Okay. Now I know the game. But my father said sometimes you got to get burned or to learn. Sometimes lessons in life. And that's what I learned sitting at his kitchen table right there in Chicago on the West Side. He said, sometimes you got to get burned or to learn. I wish I can give you every lesson of life, son. But you're going to have to go out there and find out for yourself on a lot of things. And I did.
Yeah.
You know, my old man was scared for me when I first went to France. He said, yo, those places get bombed. He was on the phone crying like, yo, those places get bombed, man. They get on the news. I'm like, nah, Dad, it's peacetime out here, man. These people are throwing up pots and pans and having parties every night, man. It's not like that. It's like that. It's like that, man. So, you know, it was just dope. It was like I found out where the basement of the basement of hip hop culture for the world was located. Okay. That's what it felt like. I found like when you see the movies on Indiana Jones with the lost They go and find all the hidden treasures, and
Yeah.
you got booby traps and all this. That's what it felt like. Like I
Wow.
went out there and like, oh my God, there's graffiti in French.
Yeah.
I don't know what it says because
Right.
it's in
Right.
another language, but it's dope. The
Yeah.
colors and the
Yeah.
characters are still the same. You know, still the same
Yeah.
b-boy characters.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, but the writings in French. You
Yeah.
know, stomach. You know, I don't give a fuck or whatever, or you know, c'est la guerre, which means in French it's the war. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Okay. Wow.
C'est la
Wow.
guerre maintenant. It's the war now. So I got to pick up a little bit of French. I'm not fluent, but I know I
Okay.
have a whole lot of grammar.
That's
Had to,
good.
had no choice. You
So
know,
how did you become the ambassador?
well,
When did that
going
turn over?
going through so many different countries like
Okay.
Belgium, Luxembourg. D Nasty got me out to Spain with him. Barcelona did a show. I got a chance to go out to Japan, Tokyo, with some artists from the Universal project that I was working on. And those artists for a solo project, I said, "Yo, whenever you want to do anything solo, hit me up. I can produce for you, jump on the joint, not a problem. MC on one of your records." And they hit me up. We doing our project with a label. I said, "Fly me to Japan, and we could do everything in the studio, old school style." I said, "I'm real old school about recording." Flew me out to Japan, paid me lovely. A few $1,000s, man. It was dope. It was real positive. Motohiro Takazan. Shout out, man. Shout out. You know, Pele Q24 was the name of that group. So we went out there, man, and it was just dope. You know, I got
So
a chance to connect with DJ Utaka, the father of hip hop in Japan, who was working with everybody from Ice-T to even Zulu Nation Japan too. He had that
wow.
chapter as well. He was Rhyme Syndicate with Ice-T as well.
Right.
And I'm
Right.
like, damn, Utaka, wow. Donald D was the one I hit my brother Donald D up, and Donald D. That's a lot of different stories I'm trying to tell you, all of them, and it's hard to get everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all meshed together.
Yeah.
Donald,
I
he's
know.
I had came back to a Zulu anniversary, saw him and asked him for a radio drop, and I had told him, "Yo, we met you back in the days with K Rock in Chicago back in like 80, 88, 89, man, at the Dope Jam tour, yo." I think that was 87. You know
Okay.
what I'm saying? 87, 88, somewhere in there. We met you, was in a hotel with y'all chopping it up. And he was like, "Yeah, man, that's what's up, yo. You know what I'm saying, man?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Stay in school. Don't, you know what I'm saying? Don't be a fool." The usual advice y'all artists give everybody. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And all that. And stay with the music. Don't give up. And he did a drop. He said, "Where you at?" I said, "Yo, I'm overseas right now, man. Where, Pat? Word." So he was calling me all the time. "Yo, man, what's up?" From LA. And then eventually his wife is Italian. So he ended up moving over to Europe. He moved to Italy. I'm like, oh, snap. You know,
Wow.
from those phone calls, he ended up moving over. Africa Islam was in Germany.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so I was like, oh, Africa is like over in Germany. Uncle is in Germany. Don's in Italy. I was in France. I met DJ Lord Jazz March 2000 out there.
Okay.
March 2000, met Lord Jazz. Through my man Ty Ho. Shout out to Ty. And Jazz was on the airplane. At that time, I was in New York through my little passport, going back home for 2 weeks or whatever. And my man said, "Yo, I met this dude, and then I told him all about you, Lord Jazz." And I'm going like, that name sound crazy familiar.
Yeah.
Let me think. Lord Jazz, hit me one time, make it funky. Lord Jazz. And I'm going like, yo, Lords of the Underground, yo. He
Yeah.
goes,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I told him all about you." He was bugging like, "Dynamax, South Bronx, blah, blah, blah. Down with Kool Herc, down with, I gotta meet him. I gotta meet him." Like, yo, he's everywhere. He's DJing, he's MCing, producing, he's all over the place. Like, so he was, you know, so when I came, he said, "When you come back, man, Jazz waiting for us." I have a show when I get back on a boat called the Battlefall. So when I came back, I said, "Put Jazz on the guest list +1." He brought DJ Fab, is a black brother that's a pioneer hip hop in France, just like D Nasty. Shout out to DJ Fab. So African French brother, you know what I mean? So they came to the boat, guest list, backstage, boom. When I came out, I had my DJ, one of my dudes opening up for me, my man DJ RTB, one of the executive producer at Universal, the boss of publishing. That was their son, and the A&R that signed me at Polydor, that was her son, because he was like the mother and father both worked at Universal. Crazy, this music business, yo,
Wow.
crazy.
Wow.
So their son, I had him opening up for me. I said, "Yeah, I'm gonna give him a shot." He's like 17. Yo, Jeremy, do your thing. DJ RTB went out there, cut up. He met Jazz backstage, like, "Yo, man," he was all amped up, like, "Dynamax, yo," you know, super kid, super charged on hip hop, and you know, had the video camera we filming, and you know. And I said, "Yo, Jazz need a ride, man. Instead of him taking the cab, man, why don't you drop him off?" He said, "Yo, that's what's up." So Jazz like, "RTB's my dude." You know, we was laughing about that the other day. And so when I got ready to come out on stage, I threw Lord Jazz hit me one time. I made a mistake and played the acapella, son.
Okay. Okay.
I think the beat comes on first and then it goes straight into the acapella
Right.
on the record. I didn't realize that. I thought I thought I was playing the actual song.
Right. Right.
Hey, Lord Jazz, hit me one time for the people because I bet they not believe that you come from Cleveland. And that's playing on the I'm like, yeah. Y'all know what this is, real hip hop, motherfuckers. And I'm going like, hold up. I took the knee off the record, turned the record over, put it on. Jazz comes out with the drink. Lord Jazz, what's up? He came out and was like, yo, bring up my man's. My man's in the building. So it was, I was killing it out there.
Wow.
And then when Jazz came, it was like, wow, oh my God. Oh man, it's like Hulk and the Thing just teamed up, man. You know what I'm saying? Mom, it's like the Avengers all over again. It was over. It was game over because it was like, uh-oh. Y'all better look out now. And it was like, the people were happy for us. There was all love, but there was also some people that was jealous too. Like, oh, the Americans try to take over shit.
Yeah.
Fuck these niggas. You know what I'm saying? But it was a lot of people that was showing mad love too. Because I guess some probably feel like we better show love. And it was some feel like we want to show love because we got respect for Laws on the Ground and we got respect for Dynamax. He's been with us for years, making records, but the internet hadn't totally popped. It was getting ready to pop though. MySpace happened like maybe 2 or 3 years after that.
Right.
2 or 3 years after that came MySpace.
Right.
And then social media was born.
Yes.
And when that happened, my 12 years that I had, while I was just getting money and I was the only American artist really jumping on every record, became about now we can get anybody. We can get Dr. Dre, we can get Missy Elliott, we can get DJ Prepare, we can get Guru, we can get Smith and Wesson, we can get everybody. Wow, everybody's on here, And it was like, I didn't care. I didn't give a damn about any of that. I was like, yo, I'm gonna continue doing what I do. And I was continue rocking parties, but it slowed down a little bit because it was like, oh shit, like, okay, I'm turning around, it was more people coming through. I loved it though. I was like, that's what's up. Now I get the chance to meet people that I never had a chance to connect with, even at home.
Yeah.
But when they come over here and meet me, guess what? They're gonna always remember me. I met you in Paris, dude.
Yeah.
That was the difference. We met in France. They'd be like, yeah, it's my nigga. We met out in France. Yo, we was chopping it up. Met Dougie Fresh up at Universal and all that. And I was walking out the meeting and he was going into a meeting like with them. And I was like, yo, let me get up out of here because Doug. And Doug was like, wait, hold up. Where you from? I said, yo, Dynamax, man. Down with Cool Herc, blah, blah, blah. He was like, hold up. Let's get him a chair. Dougie Fresh started looking around, trying to find me a chair. He started moving shit like, let's get him a chair. He said, yo, you got time? I said, yeah, I got you fam, yo. He was like, yo, I want you to come in this meeting with me, man. He wanted me to help him sell with whatever he was pushing. And I was like, that's Dougie Fresh, bro. Whatever you want, man. Whatever it is, I'm down, man.
That's what's up.
And he was just like, yo, dude, it's hot out here. We got to put the heat on him back home. We got to put the heat on him back home and he going to pop all over again.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Wow. So I was like, it is what it is, man. So I'm going to try to get as much as in right now because I know we probably over time.
Yeah. Well, do this for me in conclusion. Talk a little bit about your current status with the radio show.
Okay. Radio show. My wife was pushing my rock record, Years of the Canal, which I did in the UK with Pink Floyd and a lot of other major legends like Don Beacon, who's touring with Pink Floyd right now, as a matter of fact. The drummer of Pink Floyd, Nick Mason, Saucer for the Secrets. Look it up, y'all. Saucer for the Secrets.
Okay.
So Don Beacon is the keyboard for that. I met Carrie on Facebook, who was talking music management stuff. And I said, I like you. I want you to manage my life. So not just manage my music career, but manage me, period. I want to be a part of your life. I want you to be a part of mine. And we had a talk on the phone for hours and hours and hours and hours, and then we bonded. And then it became like, oh man, And she's like, yeah, I'm from Nebraska. And I'm like, what? Nebraska? Never been out there. What the hell? Where's Nebraska? Where is Nebraska? It's the Midwest. Okay, I'm like, that's got to be next to Chicago then, right? Illinois is like 6 hours. 6 hours. Okay, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So it's a hip hop rock record I'm doing. So she's like, yeah, I'm gonna push it, but the way your style is on the record, Donald D's on the record, a lot of people on it. George Clip Payne for Funkadelics on it. A lot of people. Head Count, Like I said, Pink Floyd, Guy Pratt from Pink Floyd is also on the record. He did his own comedy skit on there, playing the bass line on one song. A lot of legends.
Okay.
So Carrie's like pushing the record, and then she goes to different radio stations, even hip hop, Gangsterville Radio. Shout out to DJ Stanton. And DJ Stanton's like, yeah, I got Dynamax. He's the lead vocalist of this group, but he's DJs, he's MCing, but on this record, he's like the vocalist.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, I love this project. Musically, it reminds me of Prince because it's all different type of styles. Like, that's what's up. That's next level stuff. Like, yeah, it's produced in the United Kingdom. So he was telling the person that was like, say about like the person he looked up to the most, which was Dinah Lynn Biggs, about me. And she was like pretty much like she's like a godmother to him. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, yeah, and I didn't know who she was. I never met her, didn't know anything about her. And the story goes like he was always like, yeah, Dynamax, Rhyme Syndicate, Dynamax, Hurt, this one and that one, all the people I knew. And he's like this record, and he was breaking my record. He was breaking different songs, and I'm breaking different songs. So he reached out to her. She hit me up one day and was like, yeah, I got to get you for an interview. I'm like, cool. Talk to my manager. Gave her Carrie's information, never called. I continued doing interviews with multiple different radio stations, stuff like that, pushing the record in the country. It got an award and everything for it. Got a plaque from some organization called Academia. Excuse me, guys. I'm sorry. I forgot the name of the organization. But they gave us an award like best hip hop alternative rock album, rock hip hop alternative. So she starts pushing the music. And then I hadn't heard for 3 months went by. I said, did you talk to that lady? She said, no. Okay, here's what it is. Keep it moving. Then one day she hit me up and said, hey, what's your number? And I said, I guess she just really not trying to talk to management, yo. So I reached out to her. I've been managing my career for years, bro.
Yeah.
So I called her, and then we started talking on the phone. And like I said from the beginning of the conversation, there was name dropping going on. I was like, yeah, I told her my story like y'all got right now, like the story you got. And I ran out of names. And it was like, okay, my stepfather, Larry Roberts. Larry, oh man, what? And then my friend is what is it? Mark Green. Mark Green is one of the lead singers, was the original singer from the Moments that was in the group before Billy Brown was. And he sang my father's song. Like he's on the original vocals on the Outside. I'm going like, oh wow, that's crazy. Right. I didn't know all of that though at that time. Right. So she, we start talking, and she was interviewing Tito Jackson the next night. And she's like, shout out to the Roberts family. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. Shout out to the Roberts family. Okay. I got to go do my homework. And she was like, yeah, I went back I spent a couple of years doing research on my pops and music and everything. And then it was something, our birthdays were coming up. So she was like, yeah, come out to Chicago. I want to invite you for an interview. Her and my manager / became my wife. My manager became my wife.
Wow.
Her and Carrie put this big surprise together. I get out there on the radio, WOSD radio. At the time, she was working for a radio station. She was working. She was actually a radio director for a lot of different radio stations. But she also would syndicate her shows. Okay. WLTH AM radio station, Gangsterville Radio, which is now DeVille Radio now. A lot of stations, whether it was soul music radio stations, hip hop, whatever. She was pretty much like a mother and overseer and a sister to a lot of people that she was friends in the business over 40 some years, and was helping them and supporting a lot of these stations. So I'm like, yeah, she's a powerhouse to the music business, man. So when I came out there, just like me and you're talking, she told me, okay, tell us your story. Shout out to Vince Brown also. That's her executive producer, also in Chicago. So here I am back in Chicago.
Oh wow.
I had to fly to Chicago to Diamond Big Show to tell my story. And I was going like, that's ironic. I'm like, this is so ironic.
Yeah. I
didn't have time to see nobody, but I called Taco. I was like, yo, Taco. Yeah. Yo, my brother Taco Bosky, can you come up here? Like, man, I can't walk. I'm like, what? I had a stroke. I'm like, oh shit, I'm sorry, brother. I didn't know.
Yeah.
So I was blown away because I'm like, I'm out here, man. I want to see. I couldn't. It was like I'm flying in for 2 days, and she had everything planned for me, and then we was flying out. I was flying back out.
Yeah.
So I'm up here telling a story, brother, artistic, and my hip hop story got told, and then she said, now we're gonna go to the other side. Tell us about the Roberts, your stepfather and all. I was like, okay. My stepfather was blah blah blah, and I told that whole story. And towards the end of that, she says, and on behalf of WOSD Radio, Gangsterville Radio, blah blah, which is the Ville radio station, the Diamond Big Show, myself, we want to present you your father and in your brand, Robert's Family Hit 68, for your father's work in the music business, Larry Roberts, for all the hit records and it was a lifetime achievement award basically.
Okay.
And it's a gold record. And she said, we put this together with your manager. And, she had a lot to do with this and help us put this together, planning, budget, everything. And they pulled out this black cover thing and pulled it off. It was a gold record. And the record is right here on my wall. And you see it every time I do a radio show. I'll move this stuff out the way. Wow. And it's the first album of the Moments, the one that my stepfather wrote and produced. And it says, presented to Robert's Family Hit 68 for the collection works of Larry Roberts, presented by the Dynamite Big Show Chicago, WOSD Radio and Gangsterville Radio. And it says, Gangster Radio Worldwide, 2020.
Wow.
And that is the record that Larry produced. And it says produced by Sylvia and Larry Roberts.
Wow. That's
He produced the first half side with her, co-produced half of that, the first side of the album.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah. So, man. And then I had to go find out who sampled the record. Like Ghostface sampled it, De La Soul, Pete Rock, Buckshot, and the list goes on with all the artists that sampled our music. And I'm going like, wow, my favorite hip hop artists, my favorite creator records sampled in other words, I found out that my family predates the culture of hip hop, something that I've been fighting all over the world to represent myself as an artist, but be representing the culture itself.
Mm-hmm.
All of that fighting for the pioneers and fighting for Kool Herc or fighting for Bambaataa or fighting for hip hop. But my own legacy of my own family is 1968. And we are the founders of soul music. The Moments, the OJs, Eddie Kendricks from the Temptations, the Escorts. You know what I'm saying? They sang Look Over Your Shoulder, Escorts. Then it was sampled by Jill Scott on her song Family Reunion. Jaheim, 125th, he sampled Not on the Outside, the melody and everything. Like my pops helped put together and all that with Sylvia Robinson. And the list is long. De La Soul, the song Brainwash, Followers. Doo-doo, 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 doo-doo. That piano, that's the music that my pops was producing in the studio. That song is So This Is Our Goodbye. That's on the second album of the Moments. And that was, Larry Roberts and Sylvia Robinson on that. Wow. So Behind the Moments. And I'm like, yeah, man. And The Game also sampled our stuff. The rapper The Game, he sampled our stuff too as well. So I have the label. My label is called Robert's Family Hit 68. I have a new album coming out called Love, Power, and Sound, which features Bone Crusher. I got Capadonna from Wu-Tang on it. Young Dirty Bastard. He was one of my favorite rappers in the Wu-Tang. So I got his son, who sounds just like his dad. He's incredible. He's on the record. Grandmaster D Nasty. Grandmaster D Nasty now because did a show in 2006 with Kool Herc in France, and I told Kool Herc who D Nasty was. So who's the kid on the turntables? And I explained everything about D Nasty to Herc. So at the end of the night, Herc knighted him. So yo, man, you Grandmaster, yo. You know what I'm saying? And he, in front of 1,500 people, he shouting out. He kept it going, holding up D Nasty's hand. He kept it going. He kept it going, and people screaming because they saw the father of hip hop holding up the hand of their father of hip hop. And my job was to give the report card to Herc about him and all the DJs that came with D Nasty. This is the second biggest market to America, France. So let me explain to you who's responsible for it. D Nasty, Grandmaster D Nasty, DJ LBR, DJ Cut Killer, DJ Abdel. You know what I'm saying? DJs like Fab, groups like NTM, I Am, there's other crews, man. I was, Sector A, those guys, Minister Ammer. I'm probably leaving out a bunch of names. Don't kill me for it, guys. I want to shout all of y'all out, but I can't. Right now, I just can't. MC Jean Gabon, cats like that. MC Solar, of course. Everybody knew MC Solar was making records with Guru back in the days. Who else, man? I'm leaving out a bunch of dope artists. It's a bunch of dope artists. Assassin, my people's Assassin, Rockin' Squad, DJ, Solo, Clyde, DJ Clyde,
Wow.
So it's like, yeah, that's, got the entire hip hop movement, the B-boy Waleed, who was battling with the battling with the electric boogaloo, popping and locking, and he won back in the days. And Papa Pete never knighted him. They blessed him and and their family for France. Arabian brother, down with the whole electric boogaloos and all that. I'm like,
Wow.
damn.
Wow.
I got a chance to meet Poppin' Pete and Poppin' Taco out in France on two different shows.
Wow.
And me and Lord Jazz became best friends, man. I call him my brother from another mother, you know. And Donald D became my big brother too. We became really close. So I'm part of Lord's Underground, Lord Gang family. I'm down with Rom Syndicate family. A lot of, different crews in hip hop. Also, my album has Dead Prez, Stickman from Dead Prez.
Okay.
Who else is on the record, man? Some underground artists from Nebraska, like Lejay, Goddess J. Reed, Hell's Flame. I want to bring something because Nebraska's real dope. So I was like, we need to bring this place out. So I got them on it. We also got my man Lamont Reed, which is Phase 2's cousin. He got him and Native. They did some production on the album with Elder Sensei from Artifacts is also on it. DJ Taji from Japan. Yeah, man. I'm doing this record. Like this is like my birthday gift to me, like my 50th 50 years on this planet, and
That's
this is the
what's up.
big cake that I cooked up.
That's what's
K's
up.
not rhyming no more these days, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Every
I
say,
know.
yo, K, come on, K, man. Nah, man, I'm I'm good, man.
What would you like to say to her, man? Because I'm going to make sure she see this
I
interview.
love K, man. That's my heart. We talk all the time. I love
Yes.
K. And
Yes.
I want to get back in the studio with MCK and Rockski. I'm doing this record. This ain't my last album, but the next one. My next one, I want to at least do 3 joints with her, at least, man. At
Okay.
least 3 songs with her.
Okay.
Because I have to do it has you always have to go back to the beginning, bro. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Yes.
And she's my heart. That's my sister Kim K Rock, MCK Roski, man. I love her. My father passed away. I looked up and she was coming through the door with Poppy, with her son. I'm going like, yo,
Wow. Wow.
wow. Hey man.
Wow.
She
Wow.
came, she was there, man. She came through the door like, yo, I'm here, man. Like Chicago ain't no joke, man. You know what I'm saying?
More love.
When y'all love for real. And
Word.
I've always told people whenever they ask me, you know what I'm saying? If people ever ask me my origin story, like where did you start? Like I'm from the Bronx, born and raised in New York, but I also lived in Chicago. I got
Yeah.
a upbringing in Chicago too. It's
Yeah.
actually in my bio. It's in my bio. All the stuff's in my bio. If you read my bio, anybody reads Dynamax's bio online, my website, all of that, it's there. I mentioned Chicago and all that stuff.
That's
So
what's up.
I'm not ashamed of it. I'm proud of it.
What's up?
It's just that I was born and raised in New York, and then I went back to New York, and it was like people thought I was an only child because I was out there with my biological father. They didn't know that there's 6 of me. My
Wow.
mom has 6 kids.
Wow.
I'm the 5th kid, yo. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
I'm the 5th kid. My older brother was the first DJ rapper, the one that gave me the idea.
Yeah.
Keith KJ Jones, Tanya Johnson, Nancy, and there's Lisa, who's Larry Roberts' biological daughter. And then there's Joe Roberts, Dynamax, and all that, D Max.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then there's my little brother, 7 years younger than me, Anthony. You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
Straight up, my little brother Amir Brooks. He goes by Amir Brooks, but Anthony Roberts, man, that's my little brother. He's a juggernaut on business, yo. So I come from a really big family, so I can't be like I ain't from New York. Like they're gonna be
Yeah.
like,
Of course.
I
Of course.
taught you. My brother was like, I taught you how to walk.
Right.
Like
Of
nigga, he
course.
said, nigga, I taught you how to walk.
Right.
And
Right.
you know where I taught you how to walk at? In grandmama's house on White Plains Road. He's like, but Chicago, I hear you. I hear you with all that. That's cool. We love. That's cool. But your ass is from here, so don't forget where you're from. Like, no, I'm from all these places, though, man. So,
That's what's up.
so
That's
it's basically New York, Chicago, Europe, Paris, London, all that stuff, man. So, Cool Herc. That night they gave D Nasty the title Grandmaster D Nasty and a few other French cats titles. He was like, "I night They was like, what about Dynamax?" He said, "Well, Dynamax, that's the ambassador right there." You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
He's like, "That's the ambassador right there," and I was like, "Love." You know what I'm saying? So he gave me the title Hip Hop Ambassador, and when I started touring with the U.S. Embassy underneath the Georgia Bush administration, unfortunately, but fortunately, I got a chance to go back to Africa. I did 10 countries. And then Barack Obama became the first black president. And then
Right.
I was torn underneath Barack Obama administration, which is like, yo, damn,
Right. Right.
they was asking me and Kenya on the TV, like, so how does it feel to have your first black president? Because they only have black presidents out there, yo. They only have black presidents. You look at TV in Africa, I'm like, oh man, the Congress, everything was like, everything you see in white was all black. I was going like, wow, the two seats in the back with the two people, like the vice president and the speaker and all that, they all black. I
Right.
was like, when I say they got his own money, baby, he got his own money. It's like they had the elephants, animals, and the presidents and prince and all kings and all that African print on the money. And I was going like, this is like coming to America, man, but I'm really in Africa. And, did the safari and all of that, like Mauritania, I did Luanda, Angola, I did Lagos, Abuja, I did Brazzaville, Congo. I went to, I said Lusaka, Zambia already, Nouakchott, Nouadhibou in Mauritania, of course. And then I did Senegal. In Senegal, I was in Dakar, Peking, and Ziguinchor, those three cities inside of Senegal. I couldn't name not one city in Africa, dude, until after I went. And I was in Johannesburg, South Africa. I was stuck there. I stayed one night, no lie, tell the truth. And then I was going to the place I was really going to, which is next door to South Africa, which was Namibia. I was in Windhoek. I was out there 1 week doing workshops, everything, with the kids out there and all that, doing stuff, raising. And I met what's the group called? 40 something 40. Red Wine. What's that group?
I'm not.
What is this? Something E40, not E40. Not E40. What's the group called? They Red Wine was the song they came out with.
It's not
Forgive me, I
registering.
can't think of it. They from
Yeah.
the United Kingdom. But yeah,
Okay.
I'm at that group. Let me ask my wife, man. I'm sorry, it's bugging me.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
Babe, who made Red Wine? That Red Wine song. Red Wine, huh? Yeah. You gotta look it up. All right, because I got him waiting. I got to end this interview with him right quick. So I was just trying to pull that up. UB40. I knew there was a 40 in somewhere. I feel real
UB40.
bad when I said E40. They're like E40, UB40. Yeah, they was in the same hotel with me, and I
Nice.
connected with them, and I was like, yo, go to the bar in the hotel, and he was like, yo, and I ended up going with them to do stuff for kids and all that. Yeah, come out with us on the bus. We're gonna see the kids and all that in the community, and I'm like, yeah, love it, love it. I'm off tomorrow. I ain't working tomorrow. I have no shows. I don't have any shows that next day. It was like an off day for me. And I was doing workshops. I was doing workshops across Africa and concerts and everything. Dynamax performing my name, going on doing radio interviews as the hip hop ambassador, as an artist first and as a hip hop ambassador both. And sitting there with the ambassadors, actual ambassadors, like,
Right. Right. Right.
like speaking about the culture of hip hop. And, hip hop is comprised of three elements and five elements and comprised of three founding father pioneers, Kool Herc, Grandmaster Flash, and Kool DJ, Bambaataa, and blah, blah, blah. And talking about all the industries that hip hop's involved with, liquid industry, clothing industry, everything, like from cars to sponsors and just breaking it all down. And, Jazz came back to France and Jazz was like, man, you make us look good. He
That's what's
said,
up.
in his words, excuse my language, nigga, you make us look good. He's like, you make us look good. You represent hip hop, like, you don't smoke, you don't smoke whatever. You have a little drink here and there, but you don't, but mostly, man, you mostly sober.
Yeah.
And you just be, you love hip hop, dude. You got a good heart. And and I've always been about representing what we love the most. And
Yes.
I was teaching in schools out there, 2 elementary schools. And, for 6 years, I was doing that twice a week. I was the Professor Dynamax going in and teaching kids like between 11 to 14 how to DJ, how to rhyme, but it was French. So the rap part didn't work, but the DJing part, yeah,
Nice.
teaching them how to, spin music back. And I had a translator. So we was teaching them the culture, the elements, show them documentaries and stuff like that, So this has been a hell of an interview for you.
I definitely agree.
Probably
And
way more than you bargained
and
for.
listen, man, I appreciate it, bro, because look, you've been busy. You've been really busy, and you've been blessed.
I have been blessed. I thank
You've been
God for it.
blessed.
Let me say one last thing.
Mm-hmm.
So Dynalyn Biggs gives me a phone call one night,
Mm-hmm.
and she says, Dynamax, I'm getting ready to start my own radio station.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay. That's dope. Congratulations. That's amazing. She goes, yes, but there's more to it. How would you like to have a show on the station? I said, I already kind of did radio already. Like when I was in Europe and all that was fun. It was, 4 years I did that.
Mhm.
She said, yeah, but she said, listen, before you give me an answer, talk to Carrie. I'm giving you 24 hours. Talk to Carrie. Talk to Carrie. I talked to wife, the manager/wife, right? Talk to Carrie. Get back to me. 24 hours. Let me know what you want to do. I said, okay. So I kept going over, man, do I really want to go back in the radio, man? Like I did that already. Like, I'm like, I'm an artist. When you do radio, you got to make yourself the second person important. And everybody you interview is gonna be they're the star, and you're like the person in the back seat. You're the driver, and they're in the back seat all the time. So it's like it's like when Dave Chappelle said, "I want to be the one stepping." You stepping over people, like you stepping doo doo, and they stepping over you. I want to be the one stepping over you with the annihilator alligator shoes on. Remember that?
Yeah.
From the Chappelle show. And I'm going like, yeah, I want to be one with the alligator shoes on stepping over, man. I ain't trying to be so but I thought about it, I was like, you know what, this is cool. It was like during the period when COVID hit. And when COVID hit, nobody's performing,
Yep.
nobody's doing anything, nobody's entertaining nobody.
Right.
I'm going like, nobody's doing anything outside and barely inside these days.
Right. Right.
We don't
Right.
know how long this is going to last, and they're calling it the new normal.
Yeah.
And I refuse to accept it. I'm going like, oh hell no, oh hell no, man, are you serious? I had to get a day job. I was like, I got to get a day job to support myself. Because you're spending all the money I made. I was spending it like
Yeah.
40 going off.
Yeah.
If you're not making money, you're losing money.
Yeah.
So I'm going like, got a day job, got to get a day job. Started working. They got me 50 hours a week. I'm going like, Saturdays. I got to have my weekends off. I'm going to go psychotic crazy because I'm an artist. I have
Yes.
to have an outlet.
Yeah.
So I was doing that, and I told her I would do the radio thing, and I said, when you get on your feet, you can pay me. Cool. So
Right.
she starts this thing called the Biggs Radio, and I'm going like, okay, cool. And I said, well, show I had in France was called Live from New York. Cool, let's do that. I'm like, well, all right, because I was in France when I did it, so no problem. And so it don't matter where I'm located or living at, I could do Live from New York from a
Yeah.
toilet in Japan.
Right.
because
Yeah.
because I started the show internationally originally.
Yeah.
So I get on, I'm barely talking, I'm playing music. She's like, man, you gotta talk more. I'm like, yeah, that's what I used to get when I first started doing radio.
Yeah.
You're shy. You're real shy, radio shy. Cause you're like, I can't see my crowd in front of me. If I'm there
Yeah.
with a crowd, like, yeah, what up, radio? Radio is different. You got nobody in the room with you, and you sitting there, gotta like imagine. So we start, June, I believe June 27th. I think June 27th. I'm sure it is our anniversary. Will be 2 years.
Okay.
And today, whatever today's date is, today is the 16th May.
Yeah. Yes.
I got a message on my phone saying that my show was the top leading show on the radio station. And I got that from the boss herself. And she does a show as well. And I was like, I'm humble. I said, I am most humble at your service. I'm learning from you how to do this radio thing.
Wow.
She's been doing it for 40 years. She
Wow.
broke Rappers Delight when she was a little girl, an intern for a radio station. It's a whole nother story.
Wow.
Sylvia Robinson had always told the story about the young girl that opened a box of records and broke her record from Gary, Indiana.
Wow.
New York wasn't trying to play it. Jersey wasn't trying to play it.
Wow.
What's the record with a Chic record with people talking over it? When she played the record, people kept calling up like the next day she had a meeting, she was going to get fired. And instead they promoted her because the phones would not stop ringing off the hook.
Wow.
She opened the box of sort of those swirly record with the,
Yeah.
women with colors and all that. It looked
Yeah.
like candy, don't it?
Yeah.
Took it out. Oh, that's funny. So the hip. Oh, what's that record? Well, it's a Good Times record. It's Chic, but people talking on the record because they didn't know what to call it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was funny because last year they had this music event going on, and we presented her. I gave her the Hip Hop Ambassador Award for breaking Rappers Delight. 45 years ago. I think at that time it was 45 years or something like that.
Right.
So George Kerr was there, who was like producing all the records with my father, and he was actually the main man. George Kerr was the boss. He was working for Motown. He did Delphonics, Marvin Gaye, everybody. You
Okay.
name it. My pops only did like a handful of hits, but George Kerr did tons of hits.
Right.
He owned the groups. They were his groups. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying? The OJs were his groups. He was the main boss. So Uncle George was there to help give the award to Diamond Biggs. So she's family. That's Big Sis, Eastern Star, Gary, Indiana, and then she also just spread it out. She just recently has opened up Biggs Radio Chicago
Wow.
as of the last week or so. Like, yeah, we're
Okay.
gonna do Biggs Radio Chicago and Philadelphia. That's what she's doing now. She's spreading out.
Okay.
Over 120,000 listeners, man. And she got the commercials from McDonald's to Coca-Cola to, the State Farm, all the top commercials that you hear on TV. She's been running them on Biggs Radio. And it's licensed radio station. It's not a flybynight.com. It's licensed. She pays the royalties, SoundScan, BMI, ASCAP. Artists get paid for their music. When I play your Wu-Tang record I played my man Snake's record the other day, Osiris.
Mhm.
So record that Taco produced. When I play that, they get a royalty check.
Nice.
So that's how it works. That's another reason why I work with Diamond Biggs, because she's serious about her business.
That's what's up. That's what's
Sometimes I
up.
look at my pay, sometimes look at my phone, I turn on, it's Cash App. Ding, here's $100 bonus, Dynamax. I'm going like, so wish I could do more, but here, man, got you. Thank you. Keep up the good work. I'm going like, amazing,
That's dope,
because
man.
you don't get paid to do radio, and people never give you any money for stuff like that. It's free.
Yeah.
You got to put the work in and build it up, and
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and for a station you just started this station, but the ice cream behind the whole thing is all of us have a major status. All of us do. She's a
Yeah.
juggernaut.
Yeah.
She's been this thing over 40 something years. Her godfather's Uncle Marshall Thompson from the Chi-Lites. And
Wow.
respect to Uncle Marshall. He got the star in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Last summer he got the star in Hollywood. And she was there with him. Also with Mr. JJ Walker. Well, is it JJ Walker? Jimmy Walker.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Jimmy Walker was out there too.
Yeah.
So like that was dope. I wasn't there in person, but I was looking at the video going like, dag, that's good times, yo. You know what I'm saying? With the Chi-Lites and Diamond Biggs, And then she grew up with the Jacksons and all that too. She came
That's
with the Jacksons. She's family with the Jacksons. So it's, it was a lot to be like, yo, she asked you to be on our radio station. You're like, hell yeah, I'm on your radio station. You this ain't France, this ain't London, and respect to London and France. I'm back home now.
yeah.
So it's important for me to also align myself with people that are also really important, because my family is very important to this business. I've done a lot, and she acknowledged me for everything I've ever done. She's like, yo, you got an extraordinary career. Now
Yeah.
many people can say they've done what you've did independently,
Yes.
self-made artists,
Yes. Yeah.
self-made. Like, it wasn't like somebody said, hey man, I'm going to just send you overseas, and there you go.
Right.
And I'm paying you every step of the way. I'm buying your airplane. Like, no, I was buying my own tickets, flying back and forth. I was DJing parties and flying home, MCing, rapping on records and flying back and forth,
Right.
to the point where Katie was telling Herc all this shit, and Herc was like, yo, hip hop back. All right, cool. Thanks, man. But I put the work in.
Yeah.
It wasn't given to me just for sitting on the couch. Talking about, yo, man, we trying, we trying to get it popping, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? And I'm just DJing down the street. And then
Yeah.
I'm the hip hop ambassador. Like, no, man, no.
Yeah.
Everybody want to call himself the ambassador of something. I'm going to please understand what the word ambassador means.
Yeah.
Any ambassador that we have that represents our country politically, the government, to be an ambassador, you have to be located most likely in another country.
Yeah.
In another country, representing your country.
Yeah.
That's what makes you an ambassador.
Yeah.
If you are doing something worth being diplomatic and being an ambassador-like person. I am representing the culture of hip hop worldwide.
Yes.
From different countries, different nations.
Right.
And that's why, Herc would say that. And I was doing it with the embassy, the U.S. Embassy.
Right.
So it was like, okay, yeah, they called me they gave me the title cultural specialist, hip hop ambassador. But I was really proud at the forefront of cool her giving it to me, because when her give it to you, it's official because it's a culture.
Yeah.
Government can't give you something that the coach, our culture came from the streets, man.
Yes, sir.
You know, college can, yo, you're the professor of hip. Like, stop it, stop. We see all of that as corny. It's not real. It's not relevant. It's not respected. You know,
Yeah.
Lord Jazz was like, yo, you the ambassador of hip hop, son. Donald D was like, you the ambassador of hip hop, dude. And I'm going like, there you go. So if anybody got any questions, I always say, yo, reach out to Donald D, Rom Syndicate, Ice T's partner. Reach out to Lord Jazz and all those guys. And Marley Marl produced the Lord's Underground. So talk to Jazz and all them. Ask them. Talk to her. Reach out to everybody. Ask them.
Yeah.
And then I'll let them talk for me. I don't want to talk for myself. Now,
Yeah.
unless I have to. This
Right.
is for your book, or this is for, for what you put it on.
Yes,
You're gonna
sir.
chop up what you need and use whatever you want. But yeah, man. A lot of people, my brother said to me, my oldest brother said to me, my blood brother, he said to me, he said, Joe, when you were growing up and you were doing your thing with the music, a lot of people were smiling in your face and they were rooting you on. You know what I'm saying? When your career started to slow down, you start to see those people disappear.
Yeah.
And or them having a frown on their face or looking at you some kind of funny way and you don't even understand it. He
Right.
said, I'm explaining to you. He said, a lot of them weren't happy for you when you were on top. They were smiling and they were patting you on the back, but they were not happy for you.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody. Some people were, but not everybody. And I was like, wow, that's deep. You know, he's 61, I'm 50. So I'm going like, that's deep, man. But I understand what you're saying, because sometimes still didn't get it.
Right.
Like, because I basically grew up in the music business. I went to live in Europe. I was 24, 25 years old.
Right.
And I came home at 40, 41. So I left as a young man and came home as a middle-aged man.
Right. Right.
Due to knowledge, think about it. All the time I'm gone, I'm Dynamaxing every magazine, 2, 3 pages. I'm on the radio, I'm in magazines, I'm on stage. I'm growing up in the music business.
Mm-hmm.
Not outside the music, but in the music business.
Right.
Everything's royalties, everything's a sponsor, I was getting sponsored clothes, had Car sponsoring me, Car Canal sponsoring me. Like,
Dope.
it was a lot. So when I had to come back, so COVID and the day job, I was like, somebody's gonna tell me what to do. I haven't had that since 1998. My wife will tell you, I was losing my marbles, bro. Right, honey? Yeah. Losing my mind, bro. Like, I'm like, yo, I can't take it. I gotta get out of here. I gotta get back to France. I gotta get out of here. I'm not leaving you, but I gotta go, honey. I can't do this. Oh my God. And I had to tough it up, man. I had to, yo, Denzel said in Training Day, man up.
Right. Right.
Man up.
Right.
Huh? You a rooster or you a chicken?
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
one?
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me see. Let me hear it. Let me hear it. Woohoo! Yo, man, that's a chihuahua, man. So I had to man up, and it's like 3 years or some change on this job still, and life insurance.
Wow.
COVID happened, and everybody was dying. Our
Yeah.
favorite rapper died. Who Ecstasy passed away.
Yeah.
Prince Marky D passed away. Biz Markie passed away. Shabba-Doo passed away. Manny DeBongo, Mama Say My Mama Makusa, come here, Funky Somakusa, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Passed away. Black Rob passed away, yo.
Yeah.
Every week on the radio show, I thought I'd do one tribute, and then it turned into every week tribute. I didn't
Yeah.
have no idea. Shock G, I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
Like every week, and I'm like, she said, well, baby, you know you gotta do a tribute. I'm going like, well, I was like, oh yeah, so-and-so just passed. I'm like, wow,
Mm-hmm.
that's crazy. So
Yeah.
MF Doom passed away. I'm going like that. Like,
Yeah.
people were just like, everybody's biting the dust, yo.
Yeah.
So, that's, and Biggs Radio became an outlet for me. An
Yeah.
ultimate, yeah, I'm sorry, because I know you're recording.
Yeah. Well, listen, man. I'm gonna go ahead and conclude this, man. But I want to just say, man, I appreciate all your hard work, man. I'm glad that you are enjoying your life. You're enjoying your career. You know what I'm saying? You're doing a lot of great work, universally. And hey, man, I'm glad to know you, man. You know,
Thank you, yo, artistic. Come on, we go way back, man.
Yeah.
We go way back. My man George, heavy metal, doing
Yeah.
doing basement parties on the west side of Chicago.
Yeah.
I sold him my speakers when I left to go back to New York. I sold my equipment and raw material.
Yeah.
I did. I
Yeah.
sold my speakers to George, and my little sampler. I sold it to Don. My
Okay.
little SK8 Casios. I sold that to Don.
I can't wait to share this interview with him, man. They're gonna
Thank
be
you. They
everybody's
probably gonna be bored to death. They're like, this is too long, man. D-Mac's going in, man. No, I'm joking. But
it's good stuff though. That's the best part about it. It's good stuff.
All I can say is those guys inspired me, man. They did. Don taught us how to fill out the copyright forms right at his house.
Wow.
And right at his table, he showed me and Kay and Kirk how to fill out the forms. Like, this is how you fill out the copyright forms, yo. You got to put your name here and blah blah blah. You got to. I don't know if they showed Kirk, because Kirk was always doing music, but I learned that at Don's house.
Wow.
Us sitting at that famous table in that living room, the long conference table,
Yeah.
the Sappington house. Like, that's where I learned how to fill out the copyright forms, the PA forms, the SA forms, and all that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yep,
Yes, sir.
I love them. They're my big brothers, man. Shout out to MC Real, Don Sap Supreme, DJ Heavy Metal. He's going by George the Jammer now these days.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Bass Hit, Ultimate to the Superior, and all that. The South Side of Chicago, we love you, man. The Blue Gargoyle, HB Chill. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was the stuff that was my baby. That was all my babysitters when I was coming up, when I was living out there.
Yeah.
That was hip hop. Rest in peace to my brothers, man. Grand Wizard K-Light. My Bronx, New York family in Chicago was K-Light, Grand Wizard K-Light, and Peely Fresh.
Yeah.
We were the three amigos from New York that lived in Chicago. Chicago allowed us to live there and gave us love, and gave us a lot of love, and gave us the blessings, and allowed us to live there safe. We could have got murdered a whole lot of times, especially K-Light was bugging. K was bugging. K was bugging. He was bugging. I was like, yo, K, we said hats flipped up in the back. Hats flipped up like this. Like, I'm like, yo, man, K, man, you gotta stop tripping, man. Come on, man. Messing with Cash's D, man. Come on, they gonna kill all of us out here, man. Going out to somebody, y'all buddies. Yo, we ain't in B Street, man. You can't be doing that. Y'all be biting our moves, man. I'm like, he told me, he came to New York when he told me, they put a gun in my mouth one night. I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, yo, K, you think it's a joke? You think it's a game now? Nah, man, please, man, don't do that, man. He said, he apologized. I'm sorry, yo. I'm sorry, B. I was just bugging. I was just on hip hop adrenaline. Like, yo, you was on that New York shit too much, man. We tired of that shit. I'm gonna hit you with that on the way out the door, bro.
Yeah,
but man, always, man. Chicago for life. I love you, man.
Word up.
Always feel free to reach out to me. Always. I'm gonna make sure I give you my number, man. You call me when you need to call me, man. If I can do it, I'll do it. If I can't, I will be honest. Or I'll try to find somebody to help you do it. And if I can't find somebody to help you do it, then, well, at least I tried.
Yes.
On that note, peace and blessings, and thank you very much, bro. You probably got to use about 15 lines of this in your book. But
man, I can't wait to dissect it, man. It's going to definitely be used one way or another.
Okay. You got it.
That's
peace, baby.
One love, my brother.
One love.
Peace.
Peace.